After the age of 60, many people become more attentive to their health. They check their blood pressure more often. They take medications carefully. They try to eat better and move a little more. All of these efforts matter, and they should not be dismissed. But there is one part of the day that quietly shapes blood pressure more than most people realize. A part of the day that feels ordinary, harmless, and routine. The first hour of the morning. For many seniors, mornings are simply the bridge between sleep and the rest of the day. You wake up, get out of bed, start moving, take medication, drink coffee, and begin your routine. Nothing dramatic happens. The day unfolds as usual. Later, blood pressure readings may even look normal. And yet, for many people over 60, this first hour is when blood pressure is most unstable. This is not widely discussed, and it often goes unnoticed because the effects are subtle. They do not always cause pain. They do not always leave clear signs. But over time, they shape how the cardiovascular system behaves for the rest of the day and over the years that follow. After 60, the body does not transition from sleep to activity as smoothly as it once did. Blood vessels are less flexible. The nervous system responds differently. Hydration is lower after sleep. Hormones that influence blood pressure and stress rise rapidly in the early morning hours. This means that the body is already under adjustment before you even take your first step out of bed. Small actions during this time, standing too quickly, skipping water, taking medication at the wrong moment, rushing, or overstimulating the nervous system can create pressure spikes or instability that fade later in the day. Because they fade, they are often ignored. But the body remembers repeated stress, even when numbers look fine later. This is why many seniors experience morning dizziness, weakness, unsteadiness, or discomfort that seems to disappear by late morning. It is also why many blood pressure medications feel harsher in the morning, even when they work well later. The problem is not always what you are doing. Often, it is when you are doing it. The good news is that mornings do not need to be stressful or dangerous. In fact, mornings can become one of the most protective parts of the day for blood pressure if they are approached with intention rather than habit. The safest morning routine for blood pressure after 60 is not extreme. It does not require intense exercise, strict schedules, special supplements, or complicated rules. It is built on understanding how the body wakes up and respecting that process. This routine focuses on sequence, timing, and calm transitions. It works with the body instead of pushing against it. Many people believe that protecting blood pressure means doing more effort, more discipline, more control. After 60, protection often comes from doing less, but doing it more thoughtfully. Slower transitions protect blood vessels. Early hydration supports circulation. Calm movement reduces strain. Thoughtful timing allows medications to work comfortably. These actions may seem small, but repeated daily, they have powerful effects. This video is designed to guide you through the safest way to move through the first hour of the morning after 60. It will explain not just what to do, but why it works, in clear and calm language. You will learn how to wake up safely without triggering pressure swings. You will understand why hydration comes before almost everything else. You will learn how to support blood pressure medication rather than fight it. You will see how movement, posture, and breathing affect circulation. And you will learn which common morning habits quietly increase risk, even when they feel normal. This is not about fear. It is about clarity. Many seniors feel anxious about blood pressure because they do not understand why it changes or why mornings feel different. This uncertainty creates stress, which only makes the problem worse. Understanding brings calm. Calm allows better choices. It is also important to say what this video is not. This video is not telling you to stop medication. It is not offering medical treatment or replacing professional advice. It is not promising instant results or dramatic changes. What it offers is something more reliable, a safer foundation. When the first hour of the day is calmer and more stable, blood pressure behaves more predictably. Medications feel gentler. The risk of dizziness and falls decreases. Energy feels steadier. Confidence in daily movement returns. Many people are surprised by how much better they feel simply by changing how they begin the day, even when nothing else changes. After 60, the body is still capable of remarkable balance and resilience, but it needs time and respect. Rushing, forcing, or ignoring early signals creates unnecessary strain. Listening and adapting creates protection. If you have ever wondered why mornings feel harder than they used to, or why blood pressure seems unpredictable early in the day. This video is for you. If you take blood pressure medication and feel worse in the morning, this video is for you. If you want to protect your heart without adding stress to your life, this video is for you. You do not need to change everything at once. You do not need to remember every detail. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. As you watch this video, listen for 1 or 2 ideas that resonate with you. One small adjustment you could try tomorrow morning. Over time, these small adjustments add up. The safest morning routine is not about controlling the body. It is about supporting it. In the next part of this video, we will begin at the very first moment of the day before you even stand up and explain how to wake up safely in a way that protects blood pressure and sets a steady tone for everything that follows. The safest morning routine for blood pressure after 60 begins before you even leave the bed. This is a moment most people overlook because it feels too small to matter. You wake up, open your eyes, and the day begins. Nothing seems risky about that. But for the cardiovascular system, this moment is one of the most important transitions of the entire day. During sleep, your body is in a horizontal position for many hours. Blood is distributed evenly. The heart does not have to fight gravity to deliver blood to the brain. Blood pressure is relatively calm and stable. This is the body at rest. When you wake up, that stability begins to change almost immediately. As soon as you sit up or stand, gravity pulls blood downward toward the legs. To keep blood flowing to the brain, the body must respond quickly. Blood vessels tighten. Heart rate increases. Blood pressure adjusts upward to compensate. In younger adults, this process happens smoothly and automatically. Blood vessels are flexible. The nervous system reacts with precision. The transition from lying down to standing is barely noticeable. After the age of 60, this process changes. Blood vessels become stiffer and less responsive. The nervous system may react too strongly or too slowly. The heart has less reserve to absorb sudden shifts. As a result, the transition from bed to standing becomes more demanding for the body. This is why many seniors experience a brief moment of dizziness, lightheadedness, or unsteadiness when they first get up in the morning. Often, it lasts only a few seconds. Because it passes quickly, it is easy to ignore. But what feels brief on the surface represents a significant internal adjustment. Each time you move from lying down to standing too quickly, blood pressure may drop momentarily and then rebound sharply. You may feel the drop as dizziness, but you do not feel the rebound. That rebound happens inside the blood vessels and the heart, without pain or warning. When this happens occasionally, the body recovers. When it happens every morning, the cardiovascular system experiences repeated stress at the most vulnerable time of day. This is why waking up safely is not about comfort alone. It is about protecting blood vessels from sudden pressure swings that accumulate over time. Many people believe that getting out of bed quickly is a sign of strength or discipline. They do not want to feel slow or cautious. They tell themselves that hesitation means weakness. In reality, after 60, caution is not weakness. It is adaptation. The safest way to wake up respects the body's need for gradual adjustment. When you first wake up, the most protective action you can take is to pause. Stay lying down for a short moment. Become aware of your breathing. Let your body recognize that sleep has ended before you demand movement from it. Then, when you are ready, sit up slowly. Bring your torso upright without rushing. Place your feet on the floor and pause again. This pause is not wasted time. It allows blood vessels to tighten gradually. It allows the heart to adjust without strain. During this pause, gently move your legs. Wiggle your feet. Flex your calves. These small movements help push blood upward from the legs and support circulation to the brain. Only after this should you stand. Standing slowly gives the cardiovascular system time to complete its adjustments. Blood pressure rises smoothly instead of sharply. Blood flow to the brain remains steady. The risk of dizziness, imbalance, and falls is reduced. This sequence may take 1 or 2 minutes. Those minutes are an investment in safety. Many seniors notice that when they adopt this approach, morning dizziness decreases or disappears entirely. They feel more stable on their feet. Their confidence in movement returns. These changes are subtle but meaningful. Beyond balance and comfort, this habit protects blood vessels in a deeper way. Sudden pressure changes strain the inner lining of the arteries. Over time, repeated strain contributes to stiffness and reduced flexibility. Slower transitions reduce this mechanical stress, preserving vascular health. This is especially important for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, or a history of cardiovascular issues. It is also important for anyone taking blood pressure medication, because medication can make sudden drops in pressure more pronounced. Waking up safely also reduces the risk of falls, which is one of the most serious dangers after 60. Many falls occur in the morning, often within the first few steps after getting out of bed. Preventing even one fall can protect independence and quality of life. Some people worry that slowing down will make them feel older or less capable. In reality, the opposite is often true. When the body is supported properly, it performs better. Movement feels more controlled. Energy is conserved rather than drained. This habit also sets the tone for the rest of the morning. When the day begins calmly, the nervous system remains more balanced. Stress hormones rise more gently. Blood pressure becomes more predictable. This makes everything that follows hydration, medication, movement work more smoothly. It is important to understand that waking up safely is not about fear or fragility. It is about alignment with how the body changes over time. After 60, the body still adapts beautifully, but it requires different timing. Ignoring that timing creates unnecessary struggle. Respecting it creates ease. If you take nothing else from this part of the routine, remember this. The first movement of the day matters. How you get out of bed influences blood pressure, balance, and cardiovascular strain for hours afterward. You do not need to rush into the day to prove anything. The day will still be there when you stand up. In the next part of this video, we will talk about what should happen immediately after you are safely on your feet. We will look at why hydration comes before almost everything else in the morning, and how a simple glass of water can stabilize blood pressure more than most people expect. For many people over the age of 60, hydration does not feel urgent in the morning. You wake up, and you do not feel thirsty. Your mouth is not dry. There is no strong signal telling you that your body needs water right away. Because of this, drinking water often feels optional, something that can wait until later. So the morning begins without it. You get out of bed, you move around the house, you may take medication, you may make coffee or tea, you may start preparing breakfast. Water, if it appears at all, comes after everything else. This routine feels harmless because nothing dramatic happens immediately. The body continues to function. You do not collapse. You do not feel acutely ill. By late morning or early afternoon, you may feel completely normal. But inside the body, something important is missing. During sleep, the body naturally loses fluid. You lose water through breathing. You lose small amounts through the skin. Even in a cool room, this fluid loss adds up over several hours. By the time you wake up, most people are mildly dehydrated, even if they drank enough water the day before. After 60, this mild dehydration matters more than it used to. Blood pressure depends not only on how strongly the heart pumps, but also on how much fluid is circulating in the bloodstream. When blood volume is lower, blood becomes slightly more concentrated and thicker. It does not flow as easily through blood vessels. To compensate, the body tightens blood vessels and increases pressure. This compensation happens quietly, without obvious symptoms at first. You may feel a little sluggish or heavy, but it feels like normal morning stiffness. Because the sensation is subtle, it is easy to overlook. Now consider what happens when hydration is delayed. You wake up already slightly dehydrated. Blood pressure is rising naturally as part of the morning transition. Blood vessels are adjusting to standing and movement. The cardiovascular system is already working to stabilize circulation. Without hydration, blood volume remains low. Every adjustment the body makes becomes harder. Blood pressure becomes more reactive. Small movements or stressors create larger swings. This is why many seniors feel lightheaded, weak, or off balance in the morning, especially when standing or moving around the house. It is not always because blood pressure is too high or too low. It is because circulation is less stable than it should be. Hydration is one of the simplest and most effective ways to stabilize this system. When you drink water early in the morning, you restore blood volume. Even a single glass can make a measurable difference. Blood becomes easier to circulate. Blood vessels do not need to tighten as much. The heart does not have to work as hard to maintain steady flow to the brain. This effect happens faster than most people realize. Within minutes, circulation begins to improve. The body feels more grounded. Standing feels steadier. The sense of heaviness or fog begins to lift. For people taking blood pressure medication, hydration becomes even more important. Blood pressure medications are designed to lower pressure, relax blood vessels, or reduce the force of the heartbeat. These effects are helpful over the long term, but they can feel harsh if blood volume is already low. Taking medication in a dehydrated state increases the likelihood of dizziness and weakness. When hydration comes first, medication is better tolerated. Blood pressure lowers more smoothly. Circulation remains steadier. Side effects feel less intense. This does not mean you need to drink large amounts of water. In fact, excessive fluid intake can be uncomfortable. The goal is not volume, but timing. One glass of water shortly after waking is often enough to restore balance. Room temperature or warm water is usually easier for the body to accept in the morning than very cold water. Sipping slowly allows the body to absorb fluid without stress. Many seniors worry about drinking water because of bladder issues or frequent urination. This concern is understandable. However, early hydration often improves bladder comfort later in the day by preventing the body from overcompensating when fluids are finally introduced. It is also important to consider what hydration should come before. Water should come before coffee or tea. Caffeine acts as a mild stimulant. It can increase heart rate and tighten blood vessels. When caffeine is introduced before hydration, it adds stress to an already depleted system. Water should also come before medication, whenever possible, and approved by your healthcare provider. This creates a more stable environment for medication to work. Hydration does not need to be complicated. It does not require special additives or supplements. Plain water is sufficient for most people. The consistency of the habit matters more than the type of water. Many seniors who adopt this habit notice changes they did not expect. Morning dizziness decreases. Energy feels steadier. Blood pressure readings become more predictable later in the day. Medication feels gentler. These changes are not dramatic, but they are reliable. Hydration also supports other systems that influence blood pressure. It improves kidney function, which plays a role in regulating fluid and pressure balance. It supports digestion and metabolism. It helps the nervous system remain calmer. Perhaps most importantly, hydration creates a pause in the morning routine. It encourages you to slow down, sit, and give the body time to adjust. This pause itself reduces stress and supports cardiovascular stability. Some people worry that focusing on hydration will make mornings feel rigid or controlled. In reality, it often makes mornings feel easier. When the body is supported, it requires less effort to function. Hydration is not about forcing the body. It is about giving it what it needs at the right time. After 60, timing matters more than intensity. A small action taken early can prevent larger problems later. Hydration is one of those actions. If you remember nothing else from this part of the routine, remember this. Before you ask your body to do anything before coffee, before medication, before movement, give it water. This simple habit stabilizes blood pressure, supports circulation, and sets the foundation for everything that follows. In the next part of this video, we will talk about when to take blood pressure medication in the morning, and how timing and routine can help medication work comfortably instead of feeling too strong. For many seniors, taking blood pressure medication feels like the most important task of the morning. The pill is often placed beside the bed or on the kitchen counter as a reminder. Taking it early feels responsible. It feels safe. It feels like the best way to prevent problems before they start. Because of this, many people take their medication immediately after waking, sometimes even before sitting up fully. They do it on autopilot, without thinking about how the body is functioning in that moment. At first, this routine may feel fine. Over time, however, many seniors begin to notice a pattern. Shortly after taking medication in the morning, they feel weaker than expected. Standing feels harder. Their head feels light or heavy at the same time. Some feel a brief wave of dizziness or a sense that their body is not fully stable. These sensations are unsettling, especially when they occur day after day. Because they appear soon after taking medication, the mind makes a natural connection. The medication must be too strong, or the body must no longer tolerate it. Later in the day, the same medication feels completely different. Blood pressure readings look acceptable. Energy improves. Balance returns. This contrast creates confusion and worry. What many people do not realize is that the medication itself has not changed. The body's condition at the time the medication is taken has changed. The morning is the most unstable period for blood pressure regulation after 60. Blood pressure rises naturally as part of the waking process. Hormones that increase alertness and stress are released. Hydration is low after sleep. Circulation is adjusting to standing and movement. When medication is taken during this transition, its effects are layered on top of an already shifting system. Blood pressure medication is designed to lower pressure or reduce the workload on the heart. In a stable environment, this works smoothly. In an unstable environment, the effects can feel exaggerated. This is why medication often feels too strong in the morning, even when the dose is appropriate. The issue is not that medication should be avoided in the morning. The issue is that medication works best when the body is prepared to receive it. After 60, preparation matters more than speed. Supporting the body before medication can dramatically change how it feels. Hydration is one part of that support. Sitting calmly is another. Allowing circulation to stabilize before introducing medication reduces the sudden contrast between what the body is trying to do and what the medication is asking it to do. Many seniors worry that delaying medication, even briefly, could be dangerous. This fear is understandable, but it is important to clarify something. Delaying medication by a short, intentional period to support stability is not the same as skipping medication or changing doses. In many cases, doctors encourage patients to take medication at a time that aligns best with their body's rhythms. What matters is consistency and safety, not urgency driven by fear. Some blood pressure medications are best taken in the morning. Others may be better tolerated later. Some are designed to last all day. Others have more immediate effects. These differences are why timing decisions should always be discussed with a healthcare provider. However, regardless of the specific medication, one principle applies broadly after 60. Medication is better tolerated when the body is calm, hydrated, and upright, not when it is still transitioning from sleep. Many seniors find that taking medication after drinking water and sitting quietly for a short period reduces side effects significantly. The medication still works, blood pressure still lowers, but the process feels smoother and less overwhelming. It is also important to consider posture when taking medication. Taking medication while lying down or immediately before standing can increase the risk of dizziness. Sitting upright allows gravity and circulation to work together more effectively. Blood flow to the brain remains steadier. Some people take medication and then rush to start their day. They stand, walk, bend, and move quickly. This combination medication plus movement can amplify symptoms. Giving medication time to begin working while the body is still calm reduces this effect. Another common mistake is taking medication with coffee instead of water. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system and can temporarily raise blood pressure. When combined with medication, this creates mixed signals for the cardiovascular system. Water provides a neutral environment. It supports circulation without stimulation. Over time, seniors who adjust the timing and conditions around medication often report meaningful improvements. Morning weakness decreases, dizziness becomes less frequent, confidence in daily routines returns. These improvements do not require changing the medication itself. They come from aligning medication with the body's needs. It is also important to communicate openly with your doctor about how medication feels in the morning. Many seniors hesitate to bring this up because symptoms come and go. They worry they will not be taken seriously. Describing patterns is more helpful than describing discomfort alone. For example, explaining that symptoms appear only in the first hour after taking medication and resolve later in the day gives your doctor valuable information. It suggests a timing or interaction issue rather than intolerance. Doctors see this pattern often, especially in older adults. In many cases, simple adjustments are enough to improve comfort without changing the treatment plan. The most important thing is not to make changes alone. Skipping doses, splitting pills, or changing timing without guidance can increase risk. The goal is not to fight medication. The goal is to help it work in harmony with your body. After 60, harmony matters more than force. When medication is taken at the right moment, in the right conditions, it becomes a support rather than a struggle. Mornings feel steadier. The day begins with confidence rather than uncertainty. If there is one idea to take from this part of the routine, it is this. Medication timing is not just about the clock. It is about the state of the body. In the next part of this video, we will look at how movement, breathing, and posture in the morning influence blood pressure, and how small changes in how you move can protect your heart and reduce strain for the rest of the day. After waking up safely and restoring hydration, the body enters the next critical phase of the morning, movement. For many people over 60, this is where problems quietly begin. Not because they move too little, but because they move in ways that the body is no longer prepared to handle quickly. Movement in the morning is different from movement later in the day. Blood pressure is still adjusting. Circulation is still stabilizing. The nervous system is still shifting from rest to alertness. During this time, how you move matters as much as how much you move. Many seniors begin the morning with sudden, practical movements. They bend down to pick something up. They reach overhead. They turn quickly. They walk briskly from room to room. These movements feel normal because they have been repeated for decades. But after 60, the body interprets these actions differently. Every movement requires the cardiovascular system to adjust blood flow. When you bend, blood shifts toward the upper body. When you stand upright, gravity pulls blood downward. When you walk quickly, muscles demand increased circulation. Each change asks the heart and blood vessels to respond. In a younger body, these responses happen smoothly and almost instantly. After 60, they take more time. Blood vessels do not constrict and relax as quickly. The nervous system sends stronger or delayed signals. As a result, sudden movements can cause brief drops or spikes in blood pressure. These fluctuations are often felt as lightheadedness, weakness, or a sense of imbalance. Because they come and go, they are often dismissed. But repeated daily, they place stress on blood vessels and increase the risk of falls. Breathing plays a larger role in this process than most people realize. Shallow, rapid breathing, especially when rushing or feeling stressed, activates the sympathetic nervous system. This is the part of the nervous system that raises heart rate and blood pressure. In the morning, when blood pressure is already rising naturally, this activation can push the system further out of balance. Many seniors hold their breath unconsciously during movement. They hold their breath when standing, bending, or lifting. This breath holding temporarily increases pressure inside the chest, affecting blood flow to the heart and brain. When the breath is released, pressure shifts suddenly. These internal pressure changes may not be felt directly, but they contribute to instability. Posture also plays a critical role. Slouching compresses the chest and abdomen, limiting lung expansion and reducing efficient breathing. Poor posture also affects circulation by compressing blood vessels. In the morning, when circulation is still adjusting, these effects are more pronounced. Standing or walking with a slightly upright posture allows the lungs to expand fully and supports smoother blood flow. It reduces strain on the heart and stabilizes blood pressure. The safest approach to movement in the morning after 60 is not to avoid activity, but to move deliberately. Slow movements give the cardiovascular system time to adjust. Gentle transitions reduce sudden pressure changes. Conscious breathing keeps the nervous system calm. For example, when standing up, inhale slowly before rising, and exhale gently as you stand. This simple coordination of breath and movement supports circulation to the brain and reduces dizziness. When walking, take steady steps rather than rushing. Allow your arms to swing naturally. Keep your head level. These small adjustments improve balance and reduce strain. Stretching in the morning can be helpful, but it should be gentle. Aggressive stretching, especially first thing in the morning, can create sudden changes in blood flow. Gentle movements that warm the muscles gradually are safer and more effective. Some seniors believe that pushing themselves early in the day will build strength or discipline. In reality, pushing during the most unstable period often backfires. It increases fatigue, strain, and discomfort, which can reduce overall activity later in the day. The goal of morning movement is not to achieve exercise goals. It is to transition the body smoothly into activity. Later in the day, when circulation is stable and blood pressure is predictable, more vigorous movement is often better tolerated. The morning is for preparation, not performance. Breathing deserves special attention because it is one of the fastest ways to influence blood pressure. Slow, steady breathing signals the nervous system that the body is safe. It lowers stress hormones and helps blood vessels relax. Even a few minutes of calm breathing in the morning can stabilize blood pressure for hours. Breathing does not need to be formal or complicated. Simply breathing slowly through the nose, allowing the chest and abdomen to expand naturally, is enough. Avoiding breath holding during movement is equally important. Posture reinforces these effects. Standing tall without stiffness, keeping the shoulders relaxed, and aligning the head over the spine supports efficient breathing and circulation. This posture reduces unnecessary effort and strain. Many seniors who adjust their movement, breathing, and posture in the morning report noticeable changes. They feel steadier on their feet. Morning fatigue decreases. Blood pressure readings become more consistent. Confidence in movement returns. These changes often happen without any increase in exercise or effort. They come from reducing unnecessary stress on the cardiovascular system during its most vulnerable time. It is important to understand that these adjustments are not about fragility. They are about precision. After 60, the body benefits from being treated with awareness. When movement is intentional rather than rushed, the body responds with stability rather than resistance. If you remember one principle from this part of the routine, remember this: move with the body, not against it. The morning is not the time to test limits. It is the time to build a stable foundation. In the next part of this video, we will look at common habits that quietly increase blood pressure in the first hour of the day. These habits often feel normal or even healthy, but after 60, they can undermine everything you have done to protect your cardiovascular system. For many people over the age of 60, the first hour of the morning is filled with habits that feel normal, harmless, and even productive. These habits have often been repeated for decades, so they no longer feel like choices. They feel automatic. But after 60, some of these familiar habits quietly increase blood pressure instability during the most vulnerable time of the day. The challenge is that these habits do not cause immediate harm. They do not always create pain or obvious warning signs. Their effects are subtle, delayed, and easy to overlook. By the time blood pressure is checked later in the day, everything may appear normal. This is why understanding what to avoid in the first hour matters just as much as knowing what to do. One of the most common habits to avoid is rushing. Rushing in the morning does not always look dramatic. It may simply mean moving quickly, multitasking, or feeling mentally pressured to get going. Even without physical exertion, rushing activates the nervous system. Stress hormones rise. Heart rate increases. Blood vessels tighten. After 60, this nervous system activation has a stronger effect on blood pressure than it did earlier in life. The body becomes more sensitive to stress signals, especially in the morning when blood pressure is already rising naturally. When rushing becomes a daily pattern, blood pressure becomes more reactive. Small stressors produce larger swings. Over time, this reactivity strains blood vessels and undermines stability. Another habit to avoid is skipping hydration while consuming stimulants. Many seniors begin the day with coffee or tea before drinking water. This feels comforting and familiar. However, caffeine stimulates the nervous system and can temporarily increase heart rate and blood pressure. When caffeine is introduced before hydration, it adds stimulation to a system that is already dehydrated and adjusting. Blood pressure becomes more variable. Medication side effects may feel stronger. Dizziness and jitteriness become more likely. This does not mean caffeine must be eliminated. It means timing matters. Delaying caffeine until after hydration and calm movement allows the body to handle stimulation more smoothly. Another common habit to avoid is checking blood pressure immediately upon waking or during moments of discomfort. Many seniors measure blood pressure early in the morning, sometimes as soon as they get out of bed. When the numbers are higher than expected, anxiety increases. The act of worrying then raises blood pressure further, creating a feedback loop. Morning readings are often higher due to normal physiological changes. Interpreting them without context can create unnecessary fear. This fear activates stress hormones and further destabilizes blood pressure. Checking blood pressure later in the morning, after hydration and calm activity, often provides a more useful baseline. This does not mean avoiding monitoring, but avoiding reactive monitoring during unstable moments. Another habit that quietly increases risk is consuming stressful information early in the day. Many people check the news, emails, or messages immediately after waking. These sources often contain negative or urgent information. Even mild emotional stress increases blood pressure by activating the nervous system. After 60, the cardiovascular system is less resilient to sudden emotional stress, especially in the morning. What feels like just checking updates can elevate blood pressure and keep it elevated for hours. Delaying stressful input allows the body to stabilize first. Calm mornings create a buffer that protects blood pressure from emotional spikes later in the day. Skipping rest breaks is another habit to avoid. Some seniors believe that staying active continuously is healthier than resting. They move from one task to the next without pauses. In the morning, this continuous activity prevents the cardiovascular system from completing its adjustments. Short pauses allow blood pressure to settle. Sitting briefly, breathing calmly, or standing still for a moment gives the body time to catch up. Without these pauses, instability persists longer. Another subtle habit to avoid is ignoring early warning sensations. Many seniors experience mild dizziness, heaviness, or unsteadiness in the morning, and dismiss it as normal aging. While these sensations are common, they are signals that the body is struggling to stabilize. Ignoring these signals and pushing through can increase the risk of falls and strain. Responding by slowing down, sitting, or hydrating supports recovery. This is not about fear or fragility. It is about listening. Some people also avoid eating entirely in the first hour, believing that delaying food is healthier. For some seniors, prolonged fasting in the morning can worsen blood pressure instability, especially when combined with medication. Low blood sugar can activate stress hormones, increasing heart rate and blood pressure variability. A light, balanced intake later in the morning may support stability for some individuals. This is highly individual, which is why awareness matters more than rules. Another habit to avoid is making sudden decisions about medication based on morning discomfort. Feeling worse in the morning may lead some seniors to skip doses, delay medication excessively, or alter schedules without guidance. These changes can create long-term instability and increase cardiovascular risk. Morning discomfort is often about timing and routine, not medication failure. Decisions about medication should always be discussed with a healthcare provider. Perhaps the most important habit to avoid is treating the first hour of the day as unimportant. Many seniors focus their health efforts on exercise, diet, or evening routines, assuming mornings are neutral. In reality, mornings are when blood pressure is most sensitive to influence. What you avoid during this time protects everything you do later. Avoiding rushing allows calm to develop. Avoiding stimulants before hydration supports circulation. Avoiding stress early prevents unnecessary pressure spikes. Avoiding abrupt decisions protects long-term treatment plans. These avoidances are not restrictions. They are protective boundaries. The first hour does not need to be perfect. It needs to be gentle. When harmful habits are removed, the body often stabilizes on its own. Blood pressure becomes less reactive. Medication feels easier to tolerate. Energy feels more consistent. Many seniors are surprised by how much better they feel simply by avoiding a few common morning mistakes. If there is one idea to carry forward from this part of the routine, it is this. What you do not do in the first hour can be just as powerful as what you do. Protection often comes from subtraction rather than addition. In the final section of this video, we will bring everything together. We will talk about how a calm, consistent morning routine supports blood pressure over the long term, and how small daily choices compound into lasting protection after 60. After the age of 60, protecting blood pressure is no longer about quick fixes or short-term control. It is about creating an environment where the body can function with less strain, day after day, year after year. The most powerful protection often comes from routines that feel calm, steady, and almost unremarkable. This is why the morning routine matters so much. The first hour of the day is not just a beginning. It is a message to the cardiovascular system. It tells the heart how hard it needs to work. It tells the blood vessels how much tension they must carry. It tells the nervous system whether the day is safe or stressful. When mornings are rushed, dehydrated, overstimulated, or abrupt, the body receives a message of urgency. Blood pressure rises quickly. Circulation becomes reactive. Medications feel harsher. The nervous system stays on edge longer than it should. When mornings are calm, intentional, and supportive, the message is different. Blood pressure rises gently. Circulation stabilizes. Medications integrate smoothly. The nervous system remains balanced. This difference may not be dramatic on any single day, but over months and years, it becomes profound. Long-term blood pressure protection is not built from isolated actions. It is built from repetition. Each morning you wake up safely instead of rushing. Each morning you hydrate before stimulating the body. Each morning you move deliberately instead of abruptly. Each morning you respect posture, breathing, and timing. These choices compound. They reduce repeated pressure spikes that strain blood vessels. They protect the delicate inner lining of arteries. They lower the burden placed on the heart. They reduce the likelihood of dizziness, falls, and unnecessary medication side effects. Perhaps most importantly, they reduce fear. Many seniors live with quiet anxiety about blood pressure. They worry about numbers. They worry about medication. They worry about doing something wrong. This anxiety itself becomes a source of stress that raises blood pressure and undermines health. A calm morning routine replaces uncertainty with confidence. When you know that your morning supports your body, you stop reacting to every sensation with fear. You understand what is normal and what deserves attention. This understanding brings peace, and peace is one of the most underrated tools in cardiovascular health. It is important to remember that this routine is not about perfection. You will have mornings that feel rushed. You will have days when routines are interrupted. This does not undo your progress. What matters is the overall pattern, not isolated moments. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. After 60, the body responds best to steady signals. Extreme changes, aggressive routines, or constant experimentation often create more instability. Calm routines provide predictability, and predictability allows the cardiovascular system to relax. This routine also supports independence. Many of the risks seniors fear, falls, weakness, loss of confidence, are closely tied to unstable mornings. When mornings are steadier, movement feels safer. Energy lasts longer. Confidence in daily activities grows. Independence is not preserved by pushing harder. It is preserved by moving wisely. Another important aspect of long-term protection is communication with healthcare providers. When you understand how your morning routine affects blood pressure, you can describe your experiences more clearly. Instead of vague complaints, you can explain patterns. You can say when symptoms occur, when they resolve, and how routines influence how you feel. This clarity helps doctors make better decisions. It reduces unnecessary medication changes. It supports safer, more personalized care. It also reduces the temptation to make changes alone. When seniors feel confused or uncomfortable, they may skip doses, delay medication, or adjust routines without guidance. These changes often increase risk. Understanding removes the urge to react impulsively. The goal of this video series is not to replace medical care. It is to empower you to work with your body and your healthcare team more effectively. Calm routines create a foundation where treatment works better. It is also worth acknowledging something important. Aging does not mean decline is inevitable. It means adaptation is necessary. The body changes, but it remains responsive. When given the right conditions, it continues to regulate, heal, and balance. The safest morning routine is an act of respect for those changes. It recognizes that the body no longer benefits from being rushed into the day. It recognizes that timing matters. It recognizes that calm is not laziness, but wisdom. If you are watching this video and wondering where to begin, start small. Choose one habit from this routine. Just one. Perhaps it is sitting quietly before standing. Perhaps it is drinking water before coffee. Perhaps it is delaying medication until after hydration and calm breathing. Let that habit become familiar. Let it feel natural. Then consider adding another. Over time, these habits weave together into a routine that protects without effort. Many seniors report that after adopting a calm morning routine, they feel more in control of their health. Blood pressure feels less unpredictable. Mornings feel less intimidating. The day begins with steadiness rather than struggle. This is long-term protection, not from a single pill or a single rule, but from daily choices that align with how the body truly works after 60. If this video helped you see mornings differently, consider subscribing to this channel. Our goal is to provide clear, calm guidance for seniors' health without fear, without extremes, and without confusion. In upcoming videos, we will explore evening routines, sleep habits, and daily patterns that further support blood pressure and cardiovascular health after 60. Thank you for taking the time to care for your health today. The way you begin your mornings shapes the years ahead more than you might think.